So that's what police officers and soldiers do. And it would be wonderful if we too could carry a full-size semi-automatic pistol. But as private citizens who carry concealed, that's not always possible. Now it is if you work really, really hard at it. As I mentioned, that is my carry gun. Not this particular one, but one exactly like this. That's what I carry every single day. I do that to prove a point. I do that to prove that it is possible if you're really motivated, and I do it because I carry concealed not just for the personal protection aspect of it, but I carry concealed as a discipline in itself. I think there's a lot of merit to carrying a handgun. I think it increases its user's responsibility, his awareness, his or her just mental and spiritual and even physical toughness. And so I carry concealed for a whole multitude of reasons other than simple self-defense. That's obviously the whole point of a handgun, but given that, I choose to express concealed carry in as effective of a way as possible. And what that looks like is a full-size handgun with a couple spare magazines. Now, that's going to apply to maybe 1% of the people who ever watch this program. And so what I want to say now is that this is not practical for most people. Instead, most private citizens, because we need to be able to carry our concealed handguns regularly, and because we need to be able to conceal them effectively without changing our wardrobe too much, there are best balances out there. And this is probably, just from all my personal experience, having helped hundreds of people, thousands, tens of thousands of people through this experience, I've kind of come to the conclusion, and this is purely opinion, it's purely anecdotal, but I've come to the conclusion that the overall best balance for most people is a subcompact pistol in a combat caliber, so either 9 or 40, so that it can be a double stack configuration in a Tier 1 combat grade handgun. So combat caliber, double stack, combat grade handgun, so Tier 1 handgun with a magazine extension. See, this is a subcompact. By default, it's unloaded. By default, it holds 10 rounds in the handle. But when you add a magazine extension, in this particular model, you get a +2 ammunition capacity. So rather than 10 + 1, you have 12 + 1, so a total of 13 rounds. And it's in a very, very small package. This one too is unloaded. You can see how much smaller this subcompact is than the full size. The handle is much shorter, the barrel is much shorter. This gun is probably twice as easy, if not 2.5 times easy to carry than the full size is. And so again, just from my personal experience, when we're considering all these 15 handgun characteristics, where we can sacrifice and where we can't, and what the bare minimum thresholds are, I would say if you're brand new to this game and you're just thinking, Pat, this has been a good education, but just tell me what to get. Where should I start? Then my personal recommendation to you is to go to the gun store and have them pull out a subcompact pistol with a magazine extension. This particular model is a Glock 26. It's a fantastic handgun. I carried this one in particular for 5 years, my first 5 years of carrying concealed. I've shot thousands upon thousands of rounds through it, and it's literally never let me down. Fantastic weapon, the Glock 26 with a magazine extension. Now just remember, I'm not particular to Glock. This is just one model out there. If you want to investigate the other subcompacts out there, that's fine. Just if you're in the gun store checking out other Tier 1 combat quality subcompacts, just hold them up to this one. Because some of them say subcompact, as we talked about earlier, and as we'll talk about one more time here in just a little bit. Sometimes that's a marketing gimmick, and you'll hold another subcompact up this and you'll see the handle is, an inch longer or 3/4 of an inch longer. That makes a big difference. So that is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best balances between combat effectiveness from a defensive role in a private citizen and concealability and comfort. The Glock 26 with a +2 magazine extension.